Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Welcome to So today is the 5th day of Saptāha. It's very, very auspicious to have this even in your home, in your screen, on your laptop, or on your cell phone, wherever you are. Please try to follow. And we'll be reading from all these books that Srila Prabhupada has translated for us. And we'll be really blessed if you can understand at least some of it. This particular event is going to be repeated over and over and over. All we need is some sponsors like you who have sponsored this particular program. And we are encouraged to do that. So let's start with the most favorite bhajan that Srila Prabhupada liked. As a tradition, before the class we always sing this. Jaya Radha Madhava Nikuñja-bihārī, Jaya Radha Madhava Nikuñja-bihārī, Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari, Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari, Jashodanandan Vrajjanranjan, Jashodanandan Vrajjanranjan, Jamnatira Vanachari, Jamnatira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Nikuñja-bihārī, Jaya Radha Madhava Nikuñja-bihārī. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupada Paramahams Parivrajacharya Stotra Sada Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj ki, Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se Prabhu Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara Saraswati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Antargata Mayapur Dham ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai, Tulsi Devi ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Samavet Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande. All Buddhist assembled devotees, all Buddhist assembled devotees, all Buddhist assembled devotees, all Buddhist Guru and Gauranga. Vancha Kalpatarupesya Kapasindukta Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye nastaprayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nishchati. So yesterday only we saw how Lord Krishna appeared before Mother Devaki and how she actually prayed Lord Krishna to wrap up the particular form that he is assuming, four-handed form. So, the story goes like that Maharaja Parikshit desired to hear about Lord Krishna's pastimes and character from beginning to end, and so he said, Bhishma Drona Tata Jayadrajala Gandharani Lotpala Shalya Grahavati Krupena Vahani Karena Vera Kula Ashwasthamarikona Gora Makara Duryodhana Vardhani Sotena Khalu Pandavanandi Kaivartaka Keshavam. Taking the boat of Krishna's lotus feet, my grandfather Arjuna crossed the ocean of battlefield of Kurukshetra, in which mighty warriors like Vishnu resembled great fish that could easily swallow him. By the mercy of Lord Krishna, my grandfathers crossed that ocean as easily as one steps over the water contained in the calf's hoof print. When the cow is walking, because of the weight of the cow, it will leave some kind of hoof print, some print on the earth. And when it rains, it fills that as a small little puddle. It's not difficult to cross that. As you step, you don't even realize that you crossed the hoof print of the cow. So, my grandparents crossed that particular ocean of nations, which was created by some kind of misunderstanding in family matters. With Keshava as the headsman, where he crossed by, shows the Pandavas, the battle field, where Bhishma and Drona, whose water was Jayadrata, whose blue lotus was the king of Gandharva, whose crocodile was Salya, whose current was Kripa, whose bellow was wave, was Krishna and Karna, whose terrible alligator were Ashwasthama and Karna, whose water whirlpool was Duryodhana, and hellsman was Keshava, Krishna. So, this happened only by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. So, Shukadeva Goswami responded by narrating Lord Krishna's pastimes as follows. Once when Mother Earth was overburdened by excessive military strength of demons posing as kings, she became very distressed, assuming the form of a cow, with tears in her eyes, just to invoke his compassion, she approached Lord Brahma to inform him of her misfortune. We already went this thing yesterday. Lord Kshirodakshai, Vishnu lies on the white island Shvetadvipa. In daily prayers also we always chant Shantakaram Bhujagashanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Megavaram Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Virdhanagamyam Vande Vishnu Bhavabayaram Sarvalokaikanātham. Everyone is familiar with this verse and we take as a prayer in our everyday prayers. There the demigods worship the Supreme God of all gods, Lord Vishnu, by reciting the Vedic mantras known as the Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta is after this, which are advanced prayers. Purusha Sukta contains the whole karma. If you know Purusha Sukta, you know half of the karma, because it starts with Om Sarsa Shirja Purusha Sasraksha Sasrapada Sabhummem Vishvatotva Atya Tishta Dushangalam. And then you say Om Krishnaya Avahana Samarpayam. Similarly, all the way up to Om Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Chu Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya. And in between Avahana, beginning with Avahana, Asana Padya Argya Achmani, Snana Rastra Upavid Gandha Pushpa Dupa Dipa Naivedya, Tamura Dakshina Pradakshina, that we keep offering. And if it is a fire sacrifice, by chanting that last verse that I say, O Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namah. By saying or by chanting that particular mantra, you offer either coconut or some banana or fruit in the fire and finish the ceremony. Similarly, in the daily worship also, whatever you do, some 16 paraphernalia that you are equipped with before you sit for the meditation or worship, you chant the 16 verses of Śrīmad Purusha Sukta and satisfy the Lord Krishna. So, there are three kinds of Vishnus that we have to learn from these books. One is Karanodakshaya Vishnu. Vishnu is lying in the causal ocean. And cause means karma. And that's why it's known as a causal ocean. And Vishnu is known as a Karanodakshaya, one who slips in a causal ocean. While he is breathing, what happens? Because of his Shvasosvas, right? He's taking the air in, taking it out, right? So that is inhaling and giving the air back in the atmosphere. That time, some bubbles from the current ocean, from causal ocean, are produced. These are nothing but the planets. But you see up in the sky at night time, Shukra, Chandra, Mangala, Rahu, Shani, Ketu, Guru, Buddha, all these planets plus the star and the constellations, one by one, all the planetary system there, from the breathing process, Krishna can produce that. That is the one form of Karanodakshaya Vishnu. In every planet that's created by the breathing process of Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Krishna again enters in those planets, and that is known as a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. That form is known as a Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Because there is a Garb ocean. And now we are going to talk about how everything is produced, Prajanana. And that time he's sleeping on a Sheshanaga, the Sankarsana, one of the extensions of Vishnu is Ananta Shesha, that's a snake. And he's lying on that. Mother Lakshmi is massaging his feet, and from his navel sprouts a lotus. On the lotus, Lord Brahma appears. And that is the form of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And after that, Lord Brahma creates all the variegated planets which we see here. He has created 14 planetary systems, and in each one of them, Lord Krishna enters. And every living entity, 8,400,000 species of life, Krishna is entering as a Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So in our heart, we have Kshirodakshaya Vishnu along with our soul. So that is a very, very important injunction to know, because it says in scripture that those who have knowledge of these three Vishnus, one is Karanodakshaya, second is Akshaya, and third is Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. This is somebody who has the knowledge of this will definitely go back to Godhead. So, what happened that because of the Mother Earth's prayers, Atas sarva gunopeta kala param shobhanah yarhe vajana janamaksha shantarksha grahatarakam. At the time of Krishna's appearance, an atmosphere of peace, beauty and goodness prevailed throughout the entire universe. The sounds of drums could be heard throughout the sky in heaven. The Kinnaras and Gandharvas sang. The Siddhas and Charanas offered prayers. These are all celestial personalities. While the Vidyadharas and Apsaras dance in jubilation. The demigods and celestial rishis showered flowers in joyful moods. In this setting, Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu appeared from Devaki's heart in the dense darkness of night, like a full moon rising on the eastern horizon, carrying the Shankh, Chakra, Gada and Padma. On his chest was the mark of Shrivasta, and around his neck he wore the Kaustubha gem. Dressed in yellow garments, having a blackish complexion like that of a dark cloud, his scattered hair fully grown, and his helmet and earrings sparkling with Vaidura gems. Tam adbhuta balakam ambujakshanam Chaturbhajam Shankha-Gadāryudāyudham Śrīvasta-Lakshmangalam Shobhikaustubham Pitambaram Sandrapayodasauvagam. So, seeing that her child had all the symptoms of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Devaki was greatly astonished. At the same time, due to parental affection, she was afraid that Kansa would kill him. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead told Mother Devaki that you and Vasudeva are so fortunate. It was a time when I took a birth when you were Sutapa and Prushni couple. Mother Devaki was Prushni and Vasudeva was Sutapa. And they had a child named Prushni Garbha, and that was Supreme Personality of Godhead. Next time, Vasudeva was Kashyapa, and you were Aditi. At that time, I was born from your womb as Lord Vamana Deva. And this time, the third time, from Vasudeva and Devaki's union, I am taking birth as a Lord Krishna. So this is the story of Krishna Avatar. The four form of Lord Krishna is Narayana. So when we talk about Narayana, we talk about Krishna, because that's just another form of Krishna. In a human being form, after the request of Mother Devaki, he assumed the form of two-handed form so that he will merge into the human society, and Krishna will never be able to figure out. But if he is walking around with four hands, then someone will always notice that he cannot be a human being, he must be some demigod or Krishna himself. That is why that four-handed form was not assumed again by Lord Sri Krishna. But that four-handed form is nothing but extension of Krishna. And it is said that ahameva samevagre nanyatya sattatparam paschadamam vadeccha yo vishyeta subhyaham. That Krishna says that it was a time when nothing was around. I was the only one around, right? When he felt lonely and realized that he is all by himself, upon realizing this fact, Ekoham Bahushyama, Krishna thought, I am alone, I want to be many. So he assumed Purusha avatar with the help of the Maya Shakti or his external potency. Then he created Lord Vishnu out of Sattva Guna, mode of goodness, Brahmaji from the mode of passion, Rajoguna, and Lord Shiva from the mode of ignorance, Tamoguna, and assigned them to create, maintain and annihilate material universes. At the same time, Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu and Lord Shiva were created. So it proves that Ekove Narayana Asin. Krishna says that in the beginning of the creation there was only one, and that was the Supreme Personality of Godhead, me. Ekove Narayan Asin, na Brahma, na Ishano, na Apo, na Agni, na Samo, Neme Dyav A Prithvi, na Nakshatrani, na Surya. In the beginning of the creation there was only Supreme Personality of Godhead. There was no Brahma, no Shiva, no water, no fire, no sun, no moon, no stars in the sky. There was nothing, only Krishna, Ekoham. Bahusyama. And he said, I want to be many. And that is why he created Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, Lord Mahesha, and Narayana Brahma Jayate. That's why from his extension, 400 extension, who is known as Narayana, Brahma Jayate, Narayana was born. Narayana Prajapati Jayate, then Prajapati was born. Narayana Indro Jayate, the Indra was born. Narayana Astavasavo Jayate, 8 Vasus were created. Narayana Ekadash Rudro Jayate, 11 Rudros were created. Narayana Dvadash Aditya Jayate, right? These are celestial personalities and which are part of the universe at the same time. So, who are those 8 Vasus? Prithvi, Pani, Tej, Vayu, Akash, Surya, Chandra, Tara. If you go to these books, they are all labeled here. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, sun, moon, constellations and stars. Who are the Rudras? 11 Rudras. Their name is Ajakyapad, Ahirbudhyan, Veerabhadra, Girisha, Shankara, Aparajita, Hara, Ankaraka, Pinagi, Bhaga, Shambhu. These are all 11 Rudras. Who are those Adityas? The scripture says, Anshu, Dhata, Indra, Aryama, Vaivasya, Bhaga, Parjanya, Drashta, Mitra, Varuna, Varna, Pusha. So when we are discussing about any of those personalities, it is nothing but Krishna. It's like if you go downstairs, they have chickpeas. They can make a dal out of it. They crush it out of that powder, they can make the pakora out of it. Or they can make a laddu out of it. It's the same chickpeas. So this is the thing that whenever we talk about something other than Krishna, there is nothing other than Krishna. It's all chickpeas, it's all Krishna. Because these are only the extension of Lord Sri Krishna. So, 12 Adityas we saw, 10 Vishwadevas, Kratu, Daksh, Shrav, Satya, Kala, Kam, Duni, Kuruvan, Prabhavan, Rochaman, right? Narayana, Vishwadeva Jayate. So these are the 10 Vishwadevas were created. And Sadhya, 12 of them. Dharmapatni, Manasa, Anuttama, Prana, Nar, Apan, Bhakti, Bhayanaga, Hans, Narayana, Vibhu, Prabhu, and Vishwa. These are the 12 Sadhyas. And 7 Pitrus. You, me, everyone have a father, then we have grandfather and great-grandfather. Similarly, we keep going all the way up to. Then there were 7 Pitrus who were created before any other Pitrus were created. And they are 7 of them: Kabhyavaha, Anala, Soma, Yama, Aryama, Agni, Shvata, Bahirishada. These are the important personalities. Why? Because even in the scripture it says, the chapter that we are reading, when Krishna was born, right? Then he was transferred to Nanda Baba's place. And Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba thought that they have given a birth to a child Krishna. Actually, in reality, the child was born from Mother Devaki and Vasudeva. But he was just transferred to Gokula. And that time, the next day, Nanda Baba is arranging for a Nanda Mahotsav. And at that time, he is waking up early in the morning, he does the Jat Karma, he does his Gayatri, he is inviting all the Brahmanas, and he is worshipping all these personalities, including the Pitrus. And that is a Nanda Mahotsav. So these personalities are very, very important to know. So, it also says in the scriptures, Narayana Paraveda. If you want to know something, you should better know Narayana. Because once you know Narayana, you know everything. Because Narayana is nothing but extension of Lord Shri Krishna. Deva Narayana Angaja is a part of body of Krishna. Narayana Paraloka, Narayana Paramakhaha, Narayana Paro Yogo, Narayana Parantapaha, Narayana Param Gnanam, Narayana Para Gatihi. So all the knowledge, right, it's contained within Narayana. And Narayana Param Gati. If you have any kind of destination, any desire, any goal in your life, that should be Narayana. Because that form will take you to Krishna. There is no difference technically. For example, Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is the difference between Balarama and Krishna? Right? And Prabhupada says, well, they both are Krishna, except Balarama is white and Krishna is black. Right? So there are some kind of sesame. Some sesame you can buy white, some sesame you can buy black also. They both are used for fire sacrifice. So there is no difference between Narayana and Vasudeva. So the next verse in these books will tell you the same thing. How? Here it says Narayana Paraveda, Narayana Angaja, right? Similarly it says Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakhaha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriyaha, Vasudeva Param Gnanam, right? Here it says Vasudeva Narayana Param Gnanam. So there is no difference between Vasudeva and Narayana. Vasudeva Param Tapaha, Vasudeva Param Dharmo, your Param Dharma, your duty to surrender somebody is either Narayana or Vasudeva, whatever, the same thing. Vasudeva Paragati, right? The Paramgati is also either Narayana you call or chant Vasudeva. And that's why, just like we were in the beginning chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, yesterday we were talking about Narada Muni, right? So, Narada Muni used to chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. At the same time, many times he was chanting Narayana, Narayana. As soon as you see Narada entering any place, he will say Narayana, 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 Narayana. Right? So this particular talk we are doing because just like a Hare Krishna Mahamantra, some Vaishnavas also chant Narayana, Om Namo Narayana. And there is nothing wrong because they are also Vaishnava. They also have Guru Parampara. And because for some people it's a very long mantra to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. They only ask them to chant Lord Narayana's name, which is short, and especially some handicapped people and all those people, they has any problem chanting, they take the short form of Krishna, which is also a Narayana. So there was actually an incident in which there was a small village, about 15-20 cottages, and they used to live there peacefully, and they were all religious. Not only that, but they were all initiated by the same Guru. So what it is, that whole town belonged to some particular sampradaya, you can say, and their activities were also related to that particular Guru Parampara. So, one time the Guru was actually visiting that particular village where all his disciples, or the whole village was practically his disciples. The first house he stopped by belonged to a blind woman. He had a devotee, woman, but she was blind. But she was very sincere devotee, could always chant. So as soon as she heard the footsteps, she could sense that my Guru is here. So she got up and prepared a worship, took some paraphernalias, and she started chanting Guru mantra. Jnana moolam guru muti, pujamulo garapadam, mantra moolam guru vakyam, moksha moolam guru krupa, dhyana moolam. If I have to meditate, then I better meditate on the deity or a form of my spiritual master. Pujamulam guru padam, the lotus feet of my Lord, spiritual master, is the object of worship. Mantra moolam guru vakyam, whatever is coming from the lotus mouth of my spiritual master is the mantra, Maha Mantra. His instructions, his injunctions, I have to follow at any sacrifice. Moksha moolam guru krupa. If he is blessing me, he can liberate me from this cycle of birth and death. So she offered Dandavat Pranam to the Guru, spiritual master. And as a part of the duty, the spiritual master asked her, how is your spiritual life? How are you doing? And she says, okay. She says, well, it's okay and not okay. So what happened? She is blind. She doesn't have any material world around because she cannot even see anything. So her mind is in Guru, her mind is the Maha Mantra that Guru gave, right? It's totally focused on Narayana, Krishna. But she wants to share something with spiritual master. So spiritual master asked what happened. She says, as you know, I'm blind. And this body is also old. I used to take a cold bath few years back, but lately I'm not able to. I have to warm up the water if I want to take a bath. Otherwise, I feel cold. I catch cold. I get sick. And then I have to put the devotional service aside. Or I have to perform in unclean situations because I sneeze and I have fever and all kind of things, you know. So this is the only thing that my fuel, I go out and collect cow dung and make a patty out of it, cow dung patty, which I use as a fuel. So I make the patty, put it on my wall. You know, she has a cottage. The cottage has 4 walls, and whatever patty she will make, she will stick it on the outside wall of her cottage. The sun will strike on that patty that she has made, and it will dry. The next day she can use it as a fuel and warm up the water and take a bath and then do worship. But she says, somebody, I don't know who. I know it's a small village We are all God brothers and God sisters. But one of us is so miser that doesn't want to spend a couple of pennies for the patty and looking for a free cow dung patty for his fuel, and he is taking my cow dung patty, stealing it. So Guru says, well, I can help you. Now onwards, no one will steal your patty. She paid homage. She was blessed. But just by Guru says, nobody will steal, he cannot change the world, cannot stop the people who are stealing just by saying or ordering them. So he says, okay, I will try to locate your cow dung patty. But what are the characteristics of your cow dung? What is the difference between, because the whole town, everybody is using cow dung patty as a fuel in this village. So what is the difference between your cow dung patty and others' cow dung patty? So she says that, Maharaj, the mantra that you gave me, I have been sincerely chanting. Listen, the story is not sidetracked. We are not trying to speak something other than Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This is all about Krishna. This story will really help you how to chant, how to focus, right? And how to live your life righteously. It's going to teach you. It's a very short story. It's going to go fast now. So she says that when I chant the Mahamantra after you gave me the initiation, I focus and chant this and put my heart in it. I sing it sometimes, and all the transcendental vibration of the Mahamantra are actually sticking to the ground, sticking to the walls, including the cow dung patty outside. So my stolen cow dung patty, if you put it over your ears, you will be able to hear the Mahamantra, the transcendental vibration that's coming from my mouth, the mantra that you gave me, the potency of the Lord, the Vangmaya Swarup of Krishna. You will be able to hear that. Guru didn't believe, because you take a cow dung patty, put it near your ear, and how can you just like hear some kind of radio or some device, entertaining device. So he could not believe, but he says, okay, I'll try to locate your patty. He went to other door. Next door also they are disciple, and he received. Finally started giving some dakshina, and Guru said, no, I don't want dakshina. In dakshina, if you want to give me a cow dung patty, because today we are going to form a fire sacrifice in the evening, and I'm going to collect a patty from everybody. Now this is a trick, it's not really needed, the fuel, but he collected a patty, put it over his ears, no response, naturally. It's a cow dung patty. He went to third house, fourth house, fifth house. At the end of the day, he reached the last house where he was greeted, and after talking to the disciples the whole day, finally the last disciple, he asked about his welfare, how was his spiritual life and all that. And then at the time when he wanted to give Guru Dakshina, he says, no, just give me a cow dung patty. See, I have collected a lot of them, which we are going to start a fire sacrifice and offering swaha, swaha, swaha. So the man got a cow dung patty, and Guru took it and he put it over his ears, and it was amazing. It was like a miracle that this dead matter, right, which has no life whatsoever. There is no any mechanism, man-made consideration, computer, radio, nothing. Wireless, right? Cow dung paddy, picked from the mud, mixed with water, and then just by hand made a circular pattern and put it on the wall. Because that blind lady was chanting and putting her heart into transcendental vibration, those vibrations entered even into the cow dung patty. And when a guru put it, he started hearing the melodious voice of that blind lady. And he heard, and with the tears in his eyes, Guru kept hearing the melodious voice and the bhajan that she was singing out of that Mahamantra. He heard, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana, Hari Om Namo Narayana. Guru cried, what my disciple has achieved, no one in our Guru Parampara even achieved that status. You chant, and the floor is absorbing your chanting. The walls are absorbing your chanting. The roof is absorbing your chanting. Even the outside of the walls and a little cow dung patty can also absorbing the heart that you are putting in. Very successful devotee. He felt very proud of himself that at least he created one devotee who, even in this status as a living being, he is in Goloka Vrindavan with Krishna. Otherwise, this is not possible. How is it possible that a dead matter can start delivering the message of Godhead? Guru kept listening that chanting, kirtan. And he gave that peti back to his disciple. And he says, you are a spiritual criminal. She is blind and she is your god sister. How can you do this? How can you steal his fuel? Please go back to her and bring this back to her. Apologize her. Touch her feet and chant the prayers. Ask for apology. So the man goes there to the blind lady's house, standing outside the door and chants, Namantram no yantram tadapi janajane stuti maho, nachavana dhyanam tadapi janajane stuti katha, najane mudraste tadapi jane param jane mata tadanu sharanam klesha haranam videerajnanena dravina virnahena talasya videya shakyatva tavacharana yoya chutirbuj tade takchantavyam janani sakalo dharini shive kuputro jayetat kvachitapi kumatana bhavati. My god sister, considering the age, I am like a small child and you are like my mother. You are also my god sister. I broke the law. According to my guru, I am a spiritual criminal. I must go to hell. But you can save me. Please forgive me. I will never ever steal your cow and patty. I will never ever commit any offense towards you or any of my god brothers or sisters. With the tears in his eyes, the person is apologizing and she forgives him. So this is the potency of the Mahamantras. Satyavratam Satyaparam Trisatyam Satyasya Yoni Nihitam Satye Satyasa Satyamruta Satyanetram Satyatmakam Tvam Sharanam Prapanna. You may still, you may do whatever you want to do. But ultimately, Satyameva Jayate. Ultimately, you cannot escape, and you cannot just steal things. Someday they will catch you and you will have to realize. This is a very good event that we are going through this kind of discussions to create Krishna in your heart, to create a faith towards these beautiful books that Srila Prabhupada has given us. And we'll discussing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita, his instructions, and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam all together. At this moment, I would like to remind you one more thing, that this particular occasion of listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is such that it reminds me of one beautiful song that devotees used to sing and dance as soon as they used to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They used to sing, Aji mora sakal dukher haila nash, Aji mora divas haila parkash, Aji mora janm karm sakal sapna, Aji mora udaya sakal sumangala. Aji mora pritukul hoy udar, Eji se vasuti dhanya lamara, Aji mora nayan bhagyan nay sima, Aji mora sakal sukher pae prema. So, especially Srivas Thakur used to sing, lead this song, and other devotees will chant, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to their doors. So today, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, Lord Krishna, and everything has come through this particular books. And the translation is, today all our sufferings are destroyed as we have started studying Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Today, on this day of appearance before us, our deeds have borne fruits. All auspiciousness has arrived. Our forefathers, ancestors are delivered today. Our temples, our homes became glorious. Our eyesight is fortunate without limits. We are happy to find love of Godhead in the presence of Srila Prabhupada. Shri Radha Govinda, this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charamrita, Śrīmad-Bhagavad-gīta, and all the scriptures you see behind me on the shelf and up in the library, translated and purported by Srila Prabhupada. I would definitely ask you to go through these books, order these books if you don't have to the temple and start reading it. So, we were talking about Narada Muni yesterday, that Narada Muni is always there in any chapter or any katha or any Puranas you think of. So, we should know something about Narada. During the previous days of Brahma, I was born as an insignificant son of maid servant. So, Narada Muni is narrating his lifetime. Once during the 4 months of rainy season, some exalted Vaishnavas came to Brahmana's school where my mother was living. Aham puratitava bhavevam munedasyastu kaschana vedavadinam. These great followers of Vedanta blessed me with their causeless mercy, because even though I was only a small boy, I was self-controlled. I did not speak more than required, and I was not naughty nor interested in childish play. In scripture it says that Sajjanasya sabhayam maunam murkhasya bhushanam. If you do not know, if you are a gnani, then it's better you do not speak when spiritual dialogues are going on. Bhagavatam reading is going on. You don't open your mouth. These are not the place to speak something in front of learned people. So, sajjanasya savayam maunam murkhasya bhushanam. That is your ornament, that's your decoration. That will give you some credit if you just shut your mouth. So that's why here he says, Narada Muni, that was his nature. In his sanskar, the mother taught him the same thing, that these great followers of Vedanta blessed me with their causeless mercy, because even though I was only a small boy, I was self-controlled, not to speak, not to ask, not to bother anybody. Just give your ears, right? None thy tongue. So, I did not speak more than required, and I was not naughty, not interested in childish play. The reason we are reading about Narada Muni, because we have to learn something from him. In their association, I heard narrations of Lord Krishna's transcendently attractive pastimes. I love those pure devotees greatly, and with very gentle behavior, I strictly followed their instructions. I learned the art of using everything in the service of the Lord for the purpose of ultimately attaining his personal association in his supreme abode. One day, while going out in evening to milk a cow, my mother was bitten on the leg by a serpent, and as a result, she died. I immediately left home and started for north. I sat down in the shade of a great banyan tree nearby and began meditating upon the Supreme Soul within. Lord Krishna appeared on the lotus of my heart, and upon seeing my beloved Lord, I became so overwhelmed with happiness. I felt profound gratitude, and so I bowed down my head to offer my obeisances unto him. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. He tried to offer the obeisances. Namani Anantasya Hatatrapah Patana Gruhani Badrani Krutani Jasmarana. I continually chanted the holy name and glories of Supreme Lord. Thus, while fully absorbed in thinking of Lord Krishna in due course of time, after having become freed from all taints of material attachment, I met with death. Instantaneously, I received a transcendental form that was befitting an associate of the Lord, just as lightning and illumination occur simultaneously. So, this is the past of Narada Muni, that how he came across, or he had a darshan or vision of Lord Shri Krishna. Now, we were also talking about the three Vishnus, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So, when I was describing the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, you know that there is on Sheshanaga, the bed of Sheshanaga, serpent, Narayana is lying down, and from his navel the lotus sprouts, and on the lotus Brahma appears. After his birth upon the lotus flower that had grown from Lord Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's navel, Lord Brahma then heard the two syllables, ta and pa. He heard two syllables, two letters, ta, pa, right? Joined together as he vibrated from the sky nearby. He tried to find a speaker, but after failing to see anyone besides himself, he thought it wise to return to his lotus seat and execute austerities as instructed. Ta and pa makes tapa. Tapa means austerity. So Brahma figured out that somebody is trying to tell me to perform austerity. I am wasting my time coming down of the lotus and trying to find all over this world who is speaking, who is speaking. He said, doesn't matter. The unembodied soul is trying to tell me, the voice is trying to tell me to perform austerity. So better I start my job. So he started performing, execute austerities as instructed. After 1000 celestial years, the Supreme Lord became very pleased with Brahma, and so he reveals to him the personal abode Vaikuntha, which is adorned by all self-realized souls and is free from all kinds of miseries and illusions. Right? Lord Brahma could see the Supreme Lord Narayana seated upon his throne, surrounded by his foremost associates like Nanda, Sunanda, Prabala, Arhana, as well as his innumerable energies and opulences. So, Lord Brahma is enjoying the form of Lord Narayana. Now, last time we went through one shloki Bhagavatam. Now, we are coming across 4 shloki Bhagavatam, which is known as a Chatushloki. So, when Brahma is meditating upon Lord Narayana started instructing Lord Brahma, and he is speaking 4 verses. That extension of those 4 verses are these 18 books. These 18 books are nothing but only 4 verses that Lord Krishna spoke. And that is known as a Chatushloki. What is the meaning of that Chatushloki? The Supreme Lord himself is explaining, knowledge of me is very confidential, and it is revealed only to one who is engaged in this pure devotional service. Now let that understanding of my transcendental form, qualities and pastimes awaken in your heart, Lord Brahma. By my mercy, it is only I who existed before the creation All that is now manifested is also I, and after the annihilation, only I, the personality of Godhead, will remain. First, before there was nothing, but that time I was there. Ekoham bahusyama. I was the only one, right? Nobody else. Now, when everything is going to be created, the visible material world, the 14 planetary system, all that is existing or going to exist, that is also me. And a time will come when everything will be taken away from you, and that is annihilation. At that time also, I will be there. Rest of all, anything that you think of, anything you see, will be destroyed, and that is annihilation. But I will remain. O Brahma, whatever appears to be value but has no connection with me should be understood as simply as manifestation of illusory energy. If you see something and if it has no connection with Krishna, you have to throw that away because it has no value whatsoever. These are the kartas, right, in my hand. If it's going to be used for Krishna, it's good. But even if it was made out of gold and you don't use it for Krishna, Krishna says it's just illusory energy because there is no Krishna. It has no connection with Krishna. You are not using in utility or service of Krishna. That's why that thing has no meaning whatsoever. This is the Chatushloki. Like a reflection that appears in darkness. Sometimes you see something in the darkness, but that's just a reflection. There is no reality. Similarly, in this material world, whatever you see, whatever you enjoy around, if there is no Krishna, it's just Maya, it's just illusion. Just as the material elements enter into every created entity and yet exist beyond the cosmic manifestation, so I exist within everything and yet at the same time am outside of everything. Krishna is never living is Goloka Vrindavan. That's the beauty of Krishna. Without going anywhere, Krishna is traveling. Is it possible? Yes. You get up in the morning and you see, oh, sun is here, sun is out. Where is sun? Right here, everywhere. But sun is up in the sky, millions and millions and zillions miles away. Sun is there, but it's coming as a sun ray and is lighting your home. It is up to you to open your windows. It's up to you to open the doors and let the sunlight come in your bedroom. Otherwise, you just wrap up yourself under the bed and say, there is no sun, there is no sun, there is no sun. Yes, for you there is no sun, but for rest of the world, sun is always there. So, this is the way Krishna is coming in our life through all these things. Whatever you experience, whatever you see, antar bahishya tat sarvam vyaptam narayana sthita. Anta means inside, bahir means outside, tat sarvam, everything, right, is saturated. Every atom and anything, everywhere he is there. In every living being, in every heart, he is there as a Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. So, a person who is searching for the truth must certainly go on inquiring unceasingly until he reaches this point of knowledge. What he is trying to do here is trying to introduce a system of figuring out, looking for the absolute truth. So he says, use the method Neti, neti. This is a most important procedure discussed in Vedas. Neti, neti. I am looking for my book, but then I go like this. Is this the book? No, it's not book. Is this the book? It's not book. Neti, neti. So he says, go around the world and look for things. Is this Krishna? Is this Krishna? Is this the Krishna? Right? 99.9% things you will throw away. This is not Krishna. And then what is left is Krishna. This is how to find. This is the way to find Krishna. Right? Go on inquiring unceasingly until he reaches this point of knowledge. Just follow this conclusion with fixed concentration, and then pride will never be able to disturb you. Why he told this instruction to Lord Brahma is because it's possible that Brahma is going to be in charge of the creation, and he doesn't want Brahma to be deviated from his path. If somebody is doing something, he says, oh, I did it, I did it, I did it. He doesn't want Brahma to do that. So he says, just follow these 4 principles I gave you in 4 different verses. And that is a Chatushloki Bhagavatam, which is right here. Srila Prabhupada has created 18 books out of it. So we are very fortunate. After speaking, Lord Narayan disappeared, and thereafter Brahma engaged in austerities for 100 celestial years as he had instructed. Thereafter, Brahma created the 4 great sages named Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanatana and Sanat Kumaras, and ordered them, my dear sons, now generate progeny. But the 4 Kumaras were unwilling to accept household life. Yesterday we were talking about Shukadeva Goswami. Shukadeva Goswami, in a form of a parrot, had heard Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So he decided not to get involved in material life. So even though he had to take a birth as a Shukadeva Goswami at house of Maharishi Vedvyas and his wife, he didn't want to come out of the womb of the mother. They waited 9 months, 10 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 16 years. The boy wouldn't come out. So Vedvyas Maharishi says, my dear child, your mother is in pain. You should not do this. Please come out. And the child says, Father, you also know Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. I want to renounce this world. I don't want to come in the world and, get myself trapped in the cycle of birth and death. I'm happy here. So he says, no. Is there any way that we can satisfy your requirements, your wish? He says, yes. Somebody has to promise me that Maya will not touch me at all. And Maharishi Vedvyas says, even I am in Maya. Anybody is taking birth in this Martyaloka, right? Yesterday we were going through the books. Martyaloke jana sarve nana klesha vivardhanam nana yoni samutpanam pachyante papa karmabhi. According to our pious activities or impious activities, in order to pay for our karmas, we have to come in this material world, live our life, and either surrender to Krishna and do not go back in the cycle of birth and death and go back to Godhead. But if you want to decide to come back over and over, you commit sinful activities. It's all up to you, what you want to do. So he said, everyone has to come to mortal world, and you are already here in the womb of the mother. So you have no choice. Maya will touch you. Then Shukdev Goswami says, then oh, that's it. I'm not coming. So he said, how can I do that? So he says, who is in charge of Maya? Charge in Maya is Lord Krishna only. So he says, yeah, go to Dwarka then. Ask Krishna to come here and promise me that Maya will never ever touch me. If Krishna comes here, I will come out. This is the birth of Shukadeva Goswami. Krishna personally came and talked to Shukadeva Goswami, and after having darshan of Lord Sri Krishna, after listening that Maya will never ever touch you, please come out. The child came out, right? So these are very interesting stories. The four Kumaras were unwilling to accept household lives. Same thing with four Kumaras. They heard Chatushloki Bhagavatam, right? And these are the children of Brahma. And said, Dad, what you are trying to do? You heard. There is only one thing, and that is Krishna. We don't want to get involved in this material world. We are not going to get married. We are not going to create children. Sorry. So Brahma was upset. But Lord Brahma once again turned his attention to the matter of creation, and he begot 10 sons. After 4 sons, now he has 10 sons. Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulatsya, Pulaha, Kratu, Brigu, Vasistha, Daksha, and Narada. These are the 10 sons he begat. Swayambhu Manu, and the female form was named Shatrupa. And by means of sex indulgence, they produced 5 children. 2 sons named Priyavarta and Uttanapada, and the 3 daughters named Akuti, Devhuti, and Prasuti. The eldest Akuti was handed over to sage Ruchi. The middle daughter Devhuti was given to Kardama, and the youngest Prasuti became the wife of Daksha. It is from them that the world gradually became filled with population. So, you know that Lord Brahma created so many sages, and there were boys and girls, and then they got married, and this is how the whole world was actually filled with human beings. Now we just mentioned about Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa. So it's interesting story in this particular books, and that's labeled as a Dhruva Maharaj. That's a Canto 4. The 4th book you see here is a Canto 4, and it's on Dhruva Maharaj. Swayambhu Manu and Shatrupa had 2 sons, Priyavarta and Uttanapada. Although King Uttanapada had 2 queens named Suniti and Surichi, the latter was much dearer to him. Once, Uttanapada was patting Surichi's son Uttama as he sat upon his lap. Suniti's son Dhruva was also trying to climb up on to Uttanapada's lap. Proud Surichi spoke so that both the father and son could hear. My dear Dhruva, you do not deserve to sit upon throne or the king's lap, because you were not born from my womb. If you at all desire to sit upon the throne, you should first of all perform austerities to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayana. Then after achieving his favor, you may get the opportunity of being born from my womb in next life. Dhruva immediately left that place and went crying to his mother. When Suniti saw her son crying grievously, his lips trembling with rage, she lifted him onto her lap to comfort him. And said, my dear Dhruva, you should not wish to harm to befall others, because anyone who inflicts pain upon other person ends up suffering himself. Life is like a mirror, right? When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Your own face. So same thing is happening. If there is a well, right, and if you put your head inside the well and try to chant, Hare Krishna, what do you hear? From the well, the sound comes, Hare Krishna. Then you say, Hare Rama, what do you hear? Hare Rama, right? Even when there are, if you go to this beautiful country, America, when you go and travel and when you see the mountains in front of you, and when you shout, Hare Krishna, the mountains, their voice, the sound is bouncing back, coming back as somebody else is speaking, but speaking the same words that you are uttering. So life is a reflection. That's why when Dhruva was mad, the first thing the mother taught him that there is no sense in complaining. There is no sense in blaming somebody. There is no sense in cursing somebody. There is no sense in accepting something. And that's why she said, my dear Dhruva, you should not wish for harm to befall others, because anyone who inflicts pain upon others or other persons end up suffering himself. This is a law. My dear boy, all that Suruchi has said is actually true. Therefore, if you at all hope to sit upon your father's throne, you must give up your enviousness and immediately try to execute her instructions. So after careful consideration of the matter with good intelligence, Dhruva left home and went to the forest. When he received news of Dhruva's activities and fixed determination, Narada was astonished and decided to pay the boy a visit. Narada became very compassionate towards Dhruva to show him mercy. And he said, my dear boy, I wish you all good fortune. Go to Madhuvan, which is on the banks of river Yamuna, for just by living there, one comes closer to the Supreme Lord. My dear Dhruva, you should chant the 12-syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So that is the reason why we are chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. When we start reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or taking Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class, this is the tradition. 3 times you chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and then you start speaking, not before that. So here is a clear instruction by Narada Muni to Dhruva that, my dear Dhruva, you should chant the 12-syllable mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya along with your meditation. After receiving these instructions, Dhruva circumambulated Narada and offered his obeisances. Then he departed for Madhuvana. During the first month, Dhruva Maharaj ate only fruit and berries every third day. During the second month, he ate only dry grass and leaves every 6 days. And during the third month, he drank water every 9th day. In this way, he remained completely absorbed in the trance of meditation. In this way, Dhruva Maharaj captured the Supreme Lord, who is the refugee of the entire material creation. And then, becoming very perpetual, Dhruva opened his eyes one day and saw the same Supreme Personality of Godhead present before him, exactly as he had appeared within his heart. Dhruva became highly excited with transcendental emotional upon seeing the Lord before him, and he immediately fell down like a rod to offer his obeisances. The Lord touched his conch to the boy's forehead as he stood before him with folded hands. Immediately, Dhruva became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion about the absolute truth. Being thus inspired, Dhruva recited his prayers. My dear Lord, by entering within me, you have enlivened my sleeping senses, life source, and power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. In the beginning, you enlightened Lord Brahma, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe, just as the person awakens from sleep and then visualizes immediate duties. So this way, Dhruva is praying to Lord. When Dhruva Maharaj finished offering his prayers, the Supreme Lord replied, My dear Dhruva, I know the desire that is within your heart. Although it is very ambitious and difficult to achieve, I shall fulfill your aspiration by giving you the effulgent pole star, which will continue to exist even after the dissolution that takes place at the end of Brahma's day. This planet, around which all other luminaries circumambulate, just like a bull trading around a central pole to crush grains, has never been ruled before. When your father retires to the forest, he will hand over his kingdom to you, and thereafter you will rule the earth for 36,000 years. So this is how he blessed Dhruva. So it is a very wonderful pastime, one after the other. Now, one important thing that we have to know, that we already came across the different incarnations. Matsyam kurmam varaham cha narasingha cha vamanam ramam 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 krishnam buddham kalkim namamyaham. There are a lot of verses like this, that if you memorize that, you know every incarnation. So similarly, just like Krishna had to incarnation, here's some mission. And how he had this mission. What was the mission? What he is fighting with and what he is trying to establish? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati. Whenever there is a decline in religion, he has to come and take care of the situation. So we already just came across some of those incidences where there was a demon named Hiranyaksha, there was a demon named Hiranyakashipu, there was a demon named Kumbhakarna, there was a demon named Ramana, and Shishupala, and a Dantavakra. So, how all these demons came, why they had to come on the earth, and why God has to come to deliver them. And that is the whole history or the story behind Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. These are the 18 volumes, and each one of them are actually describing all those pastimes. So, when you go to Satyaloka, let's say, Vishnu Loka, there are two gatekeepers. One is Jaya, other is Vijaya. When you pass by them, then only you see Lord Narayana. What do you see when you go there? Tatra Narayanam Devam Shuklavarnam Chaturbhujam Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Vanamala Vibhushitam. You see Lord Narayana, but then you have to also pray. Adi Madhyanti Naya Nirgunaya Gunatmane Bhaktana Hivasine Bhaktana Artanashine. You also say Kayena Vacha Manasindriyava Buddhyatmanava Prakriti Swabhavat Karomi yadya sakalam parasme Narayanaeti samarpayetat. Kayena, with my body, Vacha, with my tongue, Manasa, with my mind, Buddhyat means my intelligence, Prakriti, by my nature. Karomi yadya sakalam parasme, whatever I do, mentally or physically or verbally, I surrender everything to you. So, this is the procedure. But the thing that Jai and Vijay, who are the gatekeepers, have right to stop you. So, once what happened, that those 4 Kumaras that we just talked about, that Brahma created, Sanak, Sanandana, Sanatana, Sanat Kumaras, they known as. So, they were just wandering around. They were little children. And very innocently, they entered Lord's abode. And that time, just like when you enter the temple and sometimes you wait for hours and hours to ring the bell and nobody is at the reception desk. Similarly, Jai and Vijay had also some off time, lunch time, whatever you call, coffee break. So they were not there. So these 4 Kumaras, they just entered without any permission or without any formalities. So, due to possessing a disposition quite unpalatable to the Lord, the 2 gatekeepers rudely blocked the Kumara's entrance with their staffs. They were carrying the staffs. And when they saw Kumaras walking in the corridor, right away they stopped them. Where you go, you think, right? So Kumaras felt very insulted. So upon being checked by the Lord's 2 chief doorkeepers, they immediately became agitated. Their eyes red with rage, the Kumaras exclaimed, "Who are these persons who are engaging the Lord's service and yet have developed a discordant mentality? They must be impostors, and so they suspect others to be just like themselves." Kumara says, when you are a thief, you think other person is also a thief. But if you are an honest person, everybody is honest in your eyes. What's wrong with you? Why you are checking upon us? Why you are stopping us? What did we do wrong? So they got very agitated. In Vaikuntha, there is perfect harmony between the Supreme Lord and the other inhabitants. These 2 persons are dressed like the residents of Vaikuntha, but there has this seed of disharmony come from. Because of seeing duality, they have become contaminated. Therefore, they should be put into material world, that everyone is conceived of as being either a friend or an enemy. That is a place, not Vaikuntha, but this material world where everyone is conceived of as either a friend or an enemy. Prabhupada says, this world is full of cheaters. If you are not cheating, you are being cheated. But cheating propensity is always there. So, when gatekeepers realized that they were being caused by the Brahmanas and cursed, they at once became very afraid. After falling down at a Kumara's feet, they begged, "You are correct in punishing us for having neglected such great souls as yourselves." So, when they say that these gatekeepers, they deserve not to be here, they deserve, or they will be better off being in material world, because they don't have a right judgment that they are dealing with innocent people, they are dealing with Brahmanas, they are dealing with the progeny of the Lord Brahma or Kumaras. So, that is why they said, "You are correct in punishing us for having neglected such great souls as yourselves. Still, in consideration of repentance, we pray that you mercifully ensure that the illusion of forgetting the Supreme Personality of Godhead will not overwhelm us as we fall down." So, these gatekeepers, Jay and Vijay, they actually accepted their punishment, but at the same time, they asked a little favor. The "My dear Kumaras, we are sorry, but please do us some favor." Just like Pujari is also offering, doing arti and worship, and you can see all kind of devotional service. But at the end, before he is putting the Lord in the bed and closing the curtains, he will have to chant a prayers. These prayers are Kshama Yachana, asking for forgiveness. So, Pujari will chant, "Avahanam na janami tavarchanam, pujam chaiva na janami kshamasva parameshwara, anyatha shranvanasvi tameva shranam mama, tasmat karuna bhavena raksha raksha maheshwara, gatam papam gatam dukham gatam daridrameva cha, agta sukha sampatti punya hota darshanat, mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam sureshwara." We don't know any mantra. We don't know any karmakanda kriya. We don't know how to please you, right? We don't know how to offer you. We don't know what Krishna wants, right? Mantrahinam kriyahinam bhaktihinam sureshwara yat pujitam mayadeva paripurna tadastume yadaksharam padaprashtam matrahinam chad bhavet tat kshammatam deva prasida parameshwara. Oh Lord, please forgive us. We are just trying to do some kind of seva, some devotional service to you, but really speaking, we do not how to. How to do is coming from the Supreme Guru, the spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, and that's why he has translated these beautiful books and written purport. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is one book. Out of one book, he created 18 volumes just to teach us how to serve Lord Sri Krishna. So, those who are his disciples, those who follow him, those are Hare Krishna devotees, they all follow the injunctions and the instructions given given in these particular books. So just at that moment, the Supreme Lord, having learned to this incident, came here on foot, accompanied by the goddess of fortune. So, Lakshmi Narayana. Not only Narayan came walking on the foot, he didn't come on the chariot. The particular incident was so much important that particular incident was so much important to him that Lord came walking to this place, and he also brought Mahalakshmi with him. So that's why whenever, just like we worship Radha and Krishna together, whenever the time comes to worship Lord Narayan, we worship along with Mother Lakshmi. So, Lakshmi, Shri Samudra Raj Kanayam, Shri Rangadhameshwari, Dasi Bhoot Samasta Devanitam, Loke Dipangam Puram, Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam Kataksh Labdha Vibha, Brahmendra Gangadharam, Tvam Trailakya Kutumbini Sarasijam, Vande Mukundam Priyam. So, Lakshmi and Narayan both also Mukundam Priyam. Who is Mukunda? One on the altar you see Lord Krishna is Mukunda. And who loves them? Lakshmi Narayan. And who else? We all love them. So, the Lord said, after coming to the scene, they said, O Brahmanas, I have already ordained the punishment that you inflicted upon Jaya and Vijaya, and thus they will have to accept birth in demoniac family. But by concentrating of their minds upon me in anger, they will always remain connected with me, and soon together they will return to my abode. So this is the benediction or blessings from Lord Narayan. When Jaya and Vijaya, they were cursed, right? Then you go to material world. But it was not to suffer. They say you will become a demon. And what's the nature of demon? He doesn't believe in God. As soon as somebody is talking about God, the demons don't like that. They get angry at the devotee, they get angry at the kirtan. You know, there was a Chand Kazi. Look, this picture, beautiful picture up there near the ceiling, right? Almost 15 feet by 10 feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, and Srivas Pandit, and all those. Where they are going? Chand Kazi was there, and he broke all the mridangas, and they said, don't chant, I don't believe in God. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I'm going to talk to him. It not only he spoke from Indian scriptures or Hindu scriptures, he spoke from Bible and he spoke from Quran. Any argument he gave to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knew he was the personality of Godhead. He knew all the scriptures, and that's why he was actually gifted to have a dialogue with Chand Kazi, and Chand Kazi apologized. So that is the nature of the demon, that they will not accept God. So, like Kansa, 24 hours a day, the Kansa will always think of Krishna. I want to kill Krishna, I want to kill Krishna, right? If he hears somebody next door that is a baby is born, he says, maybe that boy is Krishna. Let me go and kill, and he will kill. So all he was doing, any endo or any thinking in his mind, doing by his hands, or planning in his mind, whatever he is doing, manasa, vacha, karmana, he will have Krishna in his mind. So Lord Narayan says, these demons, no matter wherever they are going on the material world, they will always be thinking of me. But that is also one kind of connection. That's why When I kill Kansa, I am not actually killing him, I am bringing back him. When I kill Ravana, I am not killing him, I am bringing back him. That's why when Ravana died, everyone thought that Rama is going to enjoy. But no. Rama also became morose. And he said, my dear brother Lakshmana, let us do the next ceremony, right? The final rites of our brother Ravana. He says, brother Ravana? He says, yes. And he did. By his own hands, he put a fire in the mouth of Ravana and he went back to Godhead. This is how he was liberated. Shishupal was liberated. Vakradanta was liberated. Vatrasura was liberated. Kansa was liberated. Even Putna, who massaged her breast with a poisonous substance just to kill a little baby, Krishna liberated her. Right? So that is the reason that God created demigods, God also created demons. So the four Kumaras accumulated Lord offered their obeisances and departed from the gates of Vaikuntha. So far as Jai story is concerned, this is the basic that we have to know. There were also other incarnations, and Lord also came as, just like we say, Ramam, 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 Krishnam, Buddham, Kalkim, Namamyaham. Why we said Ramam, Ramam, Ramam is Ram is Parshuram, and Ram is also Sitaram, and Ram is also Balarama. The last word is Ram. That's why in the mantra or verses we call it Ramam, Ramam, Ramam. But we have to know which Ram we are talking about. There is an incarnation of Bhrigu Rishi, and that is different than Sita. And also there is a Balarama, which is different than other two Rams. So Lord Rama was born as a incarnation, one of the incarnations of Vishnu. Matsyam Kurumam Varaham Cha Narasini Chavamanam Ramam 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 Krishnam Buddham Kalkim Namamyaham. Matsya means a fish incarnation. Kurma means a tortoise incarnation. Varaha means boar incarnation. Narasimha means incarnated as a half man and half lion. You can see on the wall there is a picture, half man and half lion, is the Lord Narasimha. Then Vamana, he came as a dwarf incarnation, a little Brahmin boy, right? That was a Vamana avatar. So, Matsyam Kurmam Varam Cha Narasimha Vamana, Ramam, 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 we just went over the three Rams. Buddham, Lord Buddha, that is also incarnation. And Kalki, Kalki is the final, last incarnation where everybody will be, there will be pralaya, and only devotees will survive, the rest of them will be killed by the nature. So, Lord Rama was born. When Lord Rama was born, we usually sing a beautiful prayer to glorify the incident. Just in the morning we talk about Lord Krishna, how he was born in the heart of Mother Devaki, and how she started praying to Krishna that please wrap up your four-handed form Otherwise people will know that you are a Narayana himself. So similarly, when Rama was born, this is what we sing. Bhai pragat krupala deen dayala kausalya hitkari harshit matari muni manhari adbhut rupa vichari lochan abhirama tanu ghanshyama nij ayudh bhuj chari Bhushan Vanmala Nayan Visala Shobha Sindhu Kharari Mata Puni Boli Somati Doli Tajhutat Yaharupa Tajhutat Yaharupa. Same thing. Rama also came with 4 hands. And Mata says, no, Prabhu. This is material world. All the human beings have 2 hands. And as soon as they see someone with 4 hands, how will they feel about it? No. Assume your 2-handed form. I know you are God, but not for others. Mata puni boli, somati doli, tajhutat yaharupa. Ki jaisi sulila ati prisila yah sukh param anupa. Suni vachan sujana rodan thana hoy balik surbhupa. Ye charit jagavahi haripad pavahi ten paripavakupa. So beautiful, so beautiful. What a conclusion that yat charita jagavahi. One who sings this particular verse, he will go back to that. One who listens, I am chanting and you are listening. Those who listen to this particular beautiful pastime, how Lord Rama was born, Haripada Pava, he will go back to Godhead at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. Tena Parahi Bhavakupa, and then once he goes there, he will never come back. Such a shortcut. And it's just incident that these people, they just came and sat there. And they were able to listen to this. The guys looking at the screen at home, they are so fortunate that they were able to listen to this voice. And they took advantage of that. It's here given, guaranteeing this 18 volumes, that those who listen to the pastimes of the Lord, especially how they were born in their 4-handed form, and how they were asked to take away that form and appear in 2-handed form. So it's not unusual. Even on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was shown a Vishwarupa darshan, universal form, millions, thousands of Nostuntai, Sastrabhave, Sastramurde, Sarsa Chirisha, Purusha, Sasraksha, Sasrapada. Everything says thousands of eyes, thousands of ears, thousands of hairs, thousands of legs, thousands of hands, right? Vishwarupa. But they don't want it. Namastu Anantai Sastramurde, Sastrapada Shishururvare, Sastra Namane Purusha Shasvate, Sastra Koti Udharine Namaha. Right? That worshipable form, even they don't want. Sarsa Shirsha, Purusha, Sasraksha, Sasrapada, Sabumim Vishwato Utva, Attatista Jangalam. It's spread all over the universe, circling the whole universe. Beautiful spiritual form, the original form, right? But Arjuna got scared. If you see somebody with 1,000 hands, 1,000 legs, will you appreciate it? No. Because we are human beings. We got 2 eyes, 2 ears, right? 1 nose, 2 hands, 2 legs, enough. We don't want to see somebody like that. That's why Arjuna says no. Krishna said, Dadami Chakshu. You look through this spiritual eyes that I am avoiding you. But Arjuna didn't want to see that. He says, no problem. Manusham Rupam Tata Somya Janardana. Oh Janardana, show me your human form. Don't show me this universal form anymore. I'm scared. That's why from universal form, Krishna wrapped it into 4-handed form. He had 4 hands. And then he came back to the 2-handed form. So this is the story. The 2-handed form here usually worship. And then what happens? That in response to King Dashrath's prayers to the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly appeared as his son, Lord Rama, along with his expansions of the expansions named Lakshmana, Bharat and Shatrugna. In these books also, so far as Krishna is concerned, there is a Sankarshanayana, Anuruddhayana, Pradyumnayana, right? So this Sankarshan, Anuruddhayana, Pradyumna is there. Similarly, in Ramayana, so far as Ram is concerned, the 3 expansions, extra expansion or extensions are Lakshmana, Bharata and Shatrugna. So these 4-fold expansions are always there. And Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam also is there. Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Anuruddhaya Sankarshanaya Namah. So Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha, these are the 4 expansions. So where Ramayana is concerned, there is Ram, Lakshmana, Bharat and Shatrugna. Thereafter, Lord Rama left his kingdom, opulence, friends and all else to carry out the order of his father, who was bound by the promise that he had made to his wife, Kaikeyi. Right? Everyone knows that. The worst of Rakshasas, Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi, just as a tiger seizes an unprotected sheep when the herdsman is absent. So when Ram was away, the Ravana, he kidnapped his wife Sita. And while searching Sita, Ram found gigantic bird Jatayu, who informed Rama that it was Ravana, the king of Rakshasa, who had kidnapped his beloved wife. Lord Rama then made friends with the monkey chiefs, and after killing Vali, he came to the shore of the ocean of the way to Lanka. With the help of great monkeys who threw mountain peaks into the water that floated by his omnipotency, Lord Ramachandra constructed a bridge over the ocean. Then with the help of Ravana's brother Vibhishan, he attacked Lanka. Rama released an arrow that pierced Ravana's heart in the war like a thunderbolt. Thereafter, under Lord Rama's direction, the devotee brother of Ravana, Vibhishan, performed the necessary funeral ceremonies for his family members to save them from the path of hell. After installing Vibhishan upon the throne at Lanka and giving him the power to rule the Rakshasas until the end of Kalpa, Lord Ramachandra boarded an airplane decorated with flowers and along with Sita Devi, Lakshmana, Hanuman, and Sugriva returned to Ayodhya. Thereafter, when Lord Ramachandra entered his capital, Bharata carried his wooden shoe, Sugriva and Vibhishan waved chamara and a fan, Hanuman held a white umbrella over his head, and Shatrughna carried a bow and 2 quivers. Angada carried a sword, Jambuvan carried a golden shield, and Sitadevi had a golden pot filled with water from holy places. After being installed upon throne, Lord Rama began ruling the kingdom. There were no bodily or mental sufferings, disease, old age, bereavement, fear, fatigue, or even death for those who did not want it. So that's why this is Rama Rajya. What was so special about the kingdom of Lord Rama, that there was no bodily or mental sufferings. Nobody suffered physically or mentally. No disease whatsoever. No old age. No bereavement. No fear. No fatigue. Or even death for those who did not want it. If you don't want to die in Ramrajya, nobody dies. So these are some of the pastimes that we are looking at. And there was one saintly person, his name was Tulsidas, and he narrated all these pastimes, which is in the 9th canto. If you pick up the 9th book, the whole 9th canto is talking about this pastimes that I am reading from. Life of Rama, life of Sita, Lakshmana, Hanuman, etc. So, just like Srila Prabhupada was very merciful to us, that he took this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and he translated them word to word, and also not only translated, he explained by purpose every meaning of the verse in English language. Now we are lucky that these books, if you want to buy, is not only available in English, but if you want to buy in Gujarati, if you want to buy in Hindi, in Marathi, or any other language, Russian or Spanish or any other language of the world, if you go to United Nations and check out how many languages there are. We went and found out so many languages, and we have printed same books, same volumes in all the languages of the world. So these books are available in every language. So many years back, that 9th canto of Ramayana, all about Ramayana, was translated by Tulsidas into a local language where people of India could learn from. So some of them I will try to read just to give you some idea how it sounds. Uma kahun main अनुभव अपना सत हरि भजन जगत सब सपना. It says, it's my experience, Lord Shiva says, talking to Parvati, that Sat Hari Bhajan. Yesterday we were looking instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chetu Darpana Mahajanam Bhoma Davadni Nirvarpanam Shreya Kairo Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Ananda Vidpatanam Pratipadam Purnamita Swadanam Sarvatma Swapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyo 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 Gatiranyata. That is the only way. And that's to chant Lord Krishna's name by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So here the same thing. Sata Hari Bhajan, Jagat sab sapna. Everything else is a dream. Only reality is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Jab tab sumir bhajan nahi hoi. As long as you chant, there is no any trouble, any problem, or any hindrances, obstacles, predicaments, or any headaches. But as soon as you forget the Lord, that time you will come across Adi, Vyadi, Upadi, all kind of threefold miseries you will come across. And that is why here it says, Kahat das vipati prabhu soi, jab tab sunir bhajan nab hoi. As soon as you stop chanting, then you will start seeing all the miserable conditions around you. Karso karm kariya vidhinana, man rakhiye jahan kripa nidhana. Karso karm kariya vidhinana. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught. Parakhiya means your mind may be elsewhere, but you do your job perfectly. Then the person who assigned you to work will not doubt about it. But still, you take care of God by keeping your eyes on to Krishna, by listening to the Kirtan and his Katha. Put all your endeavors at the lotus feet of Krishna and do at the same time serve the material world. That's what he says. Karso karma kariye vidhinana. Vidhinana means variegated works, different kind of activities that you can think of. Throughout the day, we do so many work. So all those chores you can do, keep doing. But mana rakhiye jahan kripa nidhana. Wherever Krishna is, Radha is, Ram is, Sita is, that's where your mind you should be keeping. Hari Anant Hari Kathananta Kahis Nahi Bahu Siddhi Bas Santa. There are as many millions of forms that you want to see. You know, everyone, if you ask, they have their own choice. Someone wants to worship Shiva, and someone wants to worship Durga, and someone wants to worship Krishna, and someone wants to worship Rama. There is no conflict. Because these are the forms of only one personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme. Ramchandra ke charit suhaye, kalp koti lagi jahin gaye. Here it says that it's so much to talk about Lord Rama that there is no end to that. Prathama bhakti santan kari sanga, dusri rati mama katha prasanga. Lord says, which is the first devotional service? Santana Sangha means devotee association. As soon as you step in the temple, you will see some devotee who is either chanting, or who is either doing arti, or puja, or offering something to Prabhupada, or chanting the kirtan, or whatever. But you come direct in service of the Lord. So Prathama Bhakti is Santana Kari Sangha. Sangha is association. Association of devotees beginning the rise of your bhakti. Dusri Rati Mama Katha Sangha. And second thing, if you are more fortunate, you will find someone sitting on the Vyasasana and talking about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. Dusri Rati Mama Katha Sangha. So this is not a very usual thing to come across such a great fortune that you have been listening to Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam and Ramayana from here. Binu satsang vivek na hoi, Ram krupa binu sulabhan soi. Satsang means a good association. That could be bad association also. If you go to the bar and drink with other people, you will also get drunk like that. But if you come to temple, you will have opportunity of satsang. Right? And a vivek is called discrimination. Discrimination is the only word available in dictionary. But in Sanskrit it is called vivek. What to do and what not to do is called vivek. Right? And for vivek, the English translation is discrimination. In this country, it's not a very good word. When you discriminate, people say, no, my life doesn't matter. That's what you are thinking. Our life matters. No, we are not talking about any discrimination like that. That's not a right word, but that's the only word available in dictionary when you want to talk about vivek. Vivek is what ought not to be done must not be done. That gives you some kind of sense. This is right. This is not right. This is good. This is not good for me. When you have that vivek kind of discrimination, what we should be doing, what we should not be doing, that is also discrimination, but we have to take it as a vivek. Binu satsang vivek na hoi, Ram krupa binu sulabhan soi. And how does that vivek or discrimination comes in your mind or in your heart or in your character or in your activities? By the grace of the Lord. Unless spiritual master sanctions, unless Radha Guru sanctions, you will never have a right discrimination in your heart. Satsangat mud mangal moola, soi phal siddhi sab sadhan kula. It is mangal means very auspicious. It is so auspicious to be in touch with these books, to be in touch with Guru like Srila Prabhupada, and it's so auspicious to be in front of Shri Radha, especially at this time where we are offering the Arati. Punya bade jab mile satsanga, janam maran ka hoi bhanga. Punya bade jab mile satsanga. When your pious activities on rise, that is the only time you think of going to temple. That is the only time you get the right association of devotees. That is the only time you get to listen to the readings of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Right? Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. It should not just happen just once in a while. The once in a lifetime we go to the temple, we get able to listen to this thing. Nityam, every day we should be going to the temple, every day we should be chanting, every day we should be coming and worshipping and take advantage of these books. And if you cannot do that, all these books on the shelf, all these books here upon the library, all these books, in 11 years Srila Prabhupada translated every literature of the world, and he has put us in our hands. And it's a very nominal price. You cannot go wrong. 18 books, 18 volumes. We give you a little box, you order it, take it with you. Your life will be sublime Because all these things that we are reading is right there. Pavan tanaya bal pavan samana buddhi vivek vigyan nidhana. Now this particular verse is coming from the incident when Lord Rama has a little meeting at the shore of the ocean, and he's looking at Sri Lanka far away. In between there is ocean. Ram is on this side, Mother Sita is on the other side of the ocean. At that time he had a meeting with a bunch of monkeys. And he's saying, is it possible to cross the ocean? So everybody's quiet. How can you cross the ocean? Right? So nobody says nothing. But Rishapati, the person who is in charge of all the bears, right? He says that I know Hanuman can do that. Only thing, when Hanuman was a child, at that time he was cursed by sages that you are very naughty. You broke all these trees. You destroyed all the flowers. You destroyed all these fruits. So we say that although you are a son of Vayudev and you are so intelligent and you are a yogi, you will forget all this vidya, and whatever you know, your knowledge will be forgotten. He was cursed by sages. So Hanuman was also quiet. But the sages are also human beings. They are also saintly people. So instead of punishing the child for lifetime, they say, okay, we curse you. We took away all your knowledge from you. But it's not going to be there forever. Somebody will remind you about your knowledge, about your ability, and that time you will be active again in your life. So far, Hanuman was quiet. Kahi Rishapati sunu Hanumana ka chup saadhi rahe balwana. Hanuman, you can just one jump and go right there. You don't need an aeroplane, you don't need a boat. In one big lap, you can go there. That's it. Balarama, you have that ability. You are strong enough. Kavan jo kaaj kathin jag mahi jo nahi hoy tat tum pahi. Kavan jo kaaj kathin jag mahi. There is nothing which is impossible for you. Nothing is impossible for you. Right? Pavan tanaya bala pavan samana. Right? You are a son of wind god. And your strength is like a wind. When the wind comes, it can slap the whole mountain and the mountain can just fall into the ocean. It's that kind of strength you have. Hanuman, why you are just sitting there doing nothing? This is reminding, as per the curse, somebody has to remind. Pavan tanaya bal pavan samana buddhi vivek vigyan nidhana. Ast siddhi navnidhi ke data. Lord Hanuman he has achieved 8 achievements in yoga system. He has abilities: Anima, Mahima, Girima, Laghima, Pratyay, Prakyama, Ishita, Vashita. These are the achievements. Anima means all of a sudden if I want to become like a mosquito, I can become. All you should know is yoga. If I want to become like a mountain, Manima, I can become like a mountain. That's yoga. Right? If I want to disappear from here, I can't disappear. You see sometimes the Sai Baba and all some saintly people, I'm not just trying to encourage to go to these people, but even if you happen to go to them, they'll just extend their hand and you see the apple right there. Because they are thinking apple and they can make the apple right. They are appearing and they can give it to you as a prasad. Pratyam, pratyam, ishita, any kind of desire can walk on the water. If you read Bible, every page they have these miracles. We are not encouraging you for this because Srila Prabhupada says that more you do for all these things and you more taken away from Krishna. Because now you have it, now you can walk in the water. Why you need Krishna? No, that's not the right attitude. So we don't have to do that. This is Ashtanga Yoga. You have to follow yam, niyam, all the regulatory principles. Asana, you have to have proper sit, right? Pranayama, breathing exercise. Pratyahara, your diet, as well as you have to renounce from this material world and not expect anything. You have to take away all your senses from the sense objects. So yam, niyam, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana. Then you must have a goal that I want to see Krishna face to face. That is dharana. And finally, samadhi. In the last stage, you see the light in your heart. Krishna is within your heart, and you will be able to see him face to face. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stumbam Siddhi Vaistavai Veda Sangha Padakramo Panishadai Gayantiyam Samuga Dhyana Vastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yogino Yasyatam Navidu Surasuraganam Devayatasme Namam Dhyana Vastita Tadgatena Manasa. When you are meditating and thinking of Lord Krishna's form, Lord Krishna's pastime, the qualities, and the parapanyas and traits, you will be able to come across him. So, Ram kaj lagi tav avtara sunatai bhai parvat akara Ram Siya Ram Jai Jai Ram Siya Ram Jai Jai Ram. So, Ram kaj lagi tav avtara. He was reminded, Lord Hanuman, that the reason why you are born in this material world, because you are supposed to help Lord Rama. That's your mission. So do not waste time, do not waste the moment. This is the time. So Sunati Bhayam Parvatavaka. And then he jumps from this end to other end. He is passing that whole Atlantic part of ocean and is reaching Lanka and is helping Mother Sita, and this is how the Ramayana is written, and we read it through Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 9th canto. So tomorrow we will continue to read it until we have darshan of Radha Krishna. Art is just finished. You want to chant Namaste Narsimha? What time it is right now?
It's like almost 1 o'clock.
How many minutes to 1?
No, between 12.
Okay. So that's it?
Yeah.
You want to chant Namaste Narsimha? Okay, please chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Everyone, thanks for joining. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining. And this day was
Every day we do Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 10:30. Please try to come tomorrow.
Saptāha. We have 2 more days left. Tomorrow and Sunday will be the last day. So please watch. If you cannot come Sunday,
Sunday is last day.
watch
We
on
started last Saturday.
Then on YouTube. So Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, pretty.
Not every day.
That's it.
It's not tomorrow days there.
Okay.
It's very auspicious, Kartik Mas.
Yeah.
Okay, now this thing.
You live in the temple?
No,
No?
no. I just came today.
Yeah, we have this program 10:30 to 1.
I see it online
Yeah, so
sometimes.
if you want to come, you can come.
For 2 more days.
Yeah, 2 more days, right?
Okay.
If you come early, you can chant also Jai Radha Madhava.
Okay.
Come last, you can chant Namaste Narasimha. Radha Govinda ki.
Jai. It's still live, that's okay?
No, but how do you stop it?
You probably just put end.
That will say he will come.
Oh, okay. Or maybe this?
Probably.
Do you want to stop the streaming? And
Yeah.
Finish.